The aim of this video is to help you find a technology stack that at least resembles where you find yourself today. Know that, like everybody else, you're normal, and get some insight into how you can keep your technology moving forward as you grow. I have a lot of empathy for retailers and IT teams who need to find systems. You're going to spend a lot of time just trying to work out the difference between what is an ERP, what's a WMS, what's an inventory management system, and depending on your size of business and the complexity with your product type or the sales channels you're using, you're going to likely to find that there's no easy, straightforward answer. The good news is there are proven ways of doing it, and we've had the benefit of seeing behind the scenes in thousands of companies of all different shapes and sizes, and I'm going to share a little bit about what works and what doesn't. And although we can't cover everything here, hopefully it's going to be a useful intro into some of the options available, and maybe there's a chance you'll even find a way of putting something together that is already proven and working for another company. The three scenarios I'm going to take you through, first of all, are going to focus on ones that don't include a WMS. And then I'm going to explain how you would introduce a warehouse management system into that technology stack and what the benefits of doing it might be, and also what are the signs that you need to be thinking about making that change and introducing in a WMS. So regardless of which of the three scenarios you most relate to, there are going to be critical requirements for any type of business. The first thing that you need to think about is the data synchronization or the integration between the different systems. When it comes to this, you're looking for proven workflows, and you're also looking for some degree of diligence. You want to be lifting the covers and making sure that the fields are going to map, the statuses of things are going to map across, and it's all going to synchronize together properly. The second thing to think about is the order volumes that you're going to need to push through the combination of systems. You might find two systems that work really well, but if they can't handle the number of orders that you're going to ship, that's going to cause you problems. And finally, we're going to try and think about not just the next system move, but potentially building out a bit of a roadmap so that we can prevent the need to make major system changes every single year that you're trading. And I think however sorted you think you are right now, there's always something that you're going to need to improve. Even if you get those core systems right, there'll be integration changes. You might want to improve the way that data gets mapped. But at some point you will need to rethink everything. So the first model we're going to look at is the all-in-one system. This is a good example of the kind of company profile that I would see in this space. It's likely that you've got some degree of complexity to your business, or you've been a small, medium-sized business for a little while. You've got to the stage where you needed to bring in some software, and you found something that has taken over and control of all the different parts of the business. Usually these companies will have less than 10 people in the warehouse. They're certainly going to be no more than 10 to 15 million pounds or dollars in revenue. And you're likely to have someone in the company who's pretty savvy when it comes to IT. And this is what it looks like. So you've got your e-commerce platform connected to your e-commerce hub, and then that's going to be connected to either an accounting software, or the software that you're using as your hub is going to have accounting built into it, and you're likely to have some kind of shipping software. Companies go for this when they're doing a combination of retail, business to business, and business to consumer, and there's definitely a perceived value for money in having just one vendor to do all of this. Now, the signs that you've outgrown this model, well, you'll know them if you find yourself in that situation. You're going to find that you can't fulfill the order volume that you need to. The system might be slowing down. Outside of the system, you've probably started to build out some other systems. Google spreadsheets will be creeping in, and the warehouse are going to be reliant on using other bits of software to do certain things. They're the main areas. Now, the technology stack with the WMS added in, what you're going to find is things shift around a little bit. You're still keeping that hub, but the key thing is that you're keeping all of your core data in one system. So that e-commerce hub that you've put in and worked so hard to get up to speed, it's still going to be the system of record for the product information. You do your purchase orders in it. All your sales orders will flow through it. And they're the things it's really great at. The addition of a WMS in this scenario, it's all about taking away the things that maybe that e-commerce hub isn't so focused on, and really giving you improved efficiency, a whole load more control, and extending the lifespan of that e-commerce hub or your all-in-one inventory system. And here's one of the specific benefits that you might be thinking about related to investing in a specialist WMS. While you're going to have some barcode scanning with an inventory management system, it's maybe not going to be quite as comprehensive as you want it to be. And you need to think about, yes, the WMS is an additional investment and there is more complexity with it, but you need to balance that off against some of the complaints that you're getting from the warehouse, or maybe some examples where customer service are feeling the burn, where orders aren't going out on time, or perhaps the inventory isn't as accurate as you'd like it to be. The next scenario that I'm going to talk through is where you've just got your e-commerce platform, you're running everything off the back end of there, and you've got spreadsheets to make sure you know where everything is in the warehouse. Any kind of company can find themselves in this situation. It's really common when you're starting out. It tends to last a little bit longer if you're a direct-to-consumer brand, as you can extend the lifespan of it with some good shipping software. I've actually met e-commerce companies doing $100 million online that are running just their e-commerce platform, a Google Sheet, doing an inventory upload every day, and shipping software like ShipStation to fill the gaps. So here's the scenario where it would be a system like Shopify or Magento providing the e-commerce platform. You've got your accounting software off to the side. It could be Xero, NetSuite, Sage, whatever. And the shipping software like ShipStation in particular, because it's got some more advanced pick and pack functionality. Now, companies go for this because they're looking for a simple setup and it's easy to start using it. You're going to have a low cost to run in terms of your software bills, and it's got a relatively low IT overhead. Some of the signs that you've perhaps outgrown it, well, if you're doing more than 200 orders a day, or you've got more than kind of 6 to 8 people in the warehouse, it's likely that you're going to be getting some operational inefficiencies. If you have got 8 people, you might be considering hiring supervisors and adding that extra layer of management in. And you may also be having some of the issues that come from an inefficient warehouse process, like orders not going out on time or inventory issues. And this is the technology stack with the WMS added in. So you've got your Shopify website there, and that connects directly into your warehouse management system, which then takes over the connection down into the shipping software. It's a really nice linear integration, and all the data points flow one way and then they flow back the other way. It's one of the most simple ways to implement a WMS, and it really does enable you to get real-time inventory straight up to the website and eliminate all of these spreadsheets and the manual processes that you've had to build in. It's extremely scalable. We've worked with companies doing over $100 million operating in this way, and it really is great if you're just focused on just your e-commerce platform, because what you'll find is that the warehouse system can provide you information like stock valuation, sales margin reporting, and that inventory information can be fed into your accounting software, giving you a fairly light combination of systems, but something that's extremely scalable for companies selling online. And finally, I'm going to cover the ERP in the ERP extension world. I'm going to talk about NetSuite in this example. And for any company running NetSuite, an example of an extension for a WMS would be something like NetSuite's own WMS, which was previously called WMS Lite, or something like RF Smart, which focuses on some data automation, capturing barcodes to streamline some of the processes. Companies using an ERP are likely to be doing kind of more than £20 million in revenue. You've got to the stage where you've got 3 to 5 people in your IT team, and you're ready to take on the additional headcount and the administration that comes with putting in a piece of enterprise software that's going to really enable you to scale. The warehouse team's probably kicking on towards 20 full-time employees, and you're going to be doing a few hundred orders a day, and not just e-commerce orders. There's going to be a blend of B2B, B2C in there, and it could be wholesale or even shipping out to stores. And before a WMS, this is what it's going to look like. Now, You're going to have this if you've got complexity in your sales channels, or perhaps you're doing some light manufacturing or assembly. You're looking for a strong, robust solution that can provide that good system of record. That means you know your margins and you can bring your purchasing and your sales systems into one place. If you're in e-commerce with a low order volume, or you're doing a lot of B2B, it's almost also common that you find yourself moving towards this kind of setup. If we think about the signs that perhaps you're ready to bring in a specialized WMS, I think a common one would be a realization either during the implementation of NetSuite or shortly after going live that perhaps you didn't understand your warehouse requirements well enough to make the right decision on which WMS to use. Or perhaps you were just looking to get live with ERP and now you're thinking about improving the WMS as a phase 2. One of the kind of biggest constraints I can see, often particularly if you use NetSuite's own interface to carriers, is that actual packing bench workflow can feel a bit disjointed. I know with a WMS you've got a dispatch screen and a workflow that's really designed for a packer, and you're going to be benchmarking on a much higher number of orders per packer. There's also going to be other kind of warehouse features that perhaps you're missing. These are going to be more advanced things like maybe a rules-based put away or a replenishment. And I think just once you're live, doing a workflow of going through what are the features that you're missing, that'll put you in a situation of understanding whether you're ready to go to the next level. And this is the tech stack with the WMS added in. I think you can see here that everything's still flowing through your NetSuite system. It's still going to be that system of record doing everything you wanted it to. Just moving that focus around the warehouse out into something that's dedicated means that you can do things like that packing bench process in a bit more of an automated way. For example, for e-commerce, we would target 2 to 3 dispatches per packing bench per minute. And you're going to be capturing things like the package type used, maybe even the carrier or service type, and integrating all of that behind the scenes using an API. The focus warehouse system is also likely to be slightly easier to train temps on during peak. And from a reporting and dashboard perspective, this is the kind of insight that you can share with your whole company if you do have a dedicated warehouse system. This dashboard is showing things like the number of orders you shipped today, what you shipped yesterday, number of items to go, and all of this kind of information can be customized and displayed in any way so that anyone who needs that insight on the warehouse operation can either get it on their own screen, or you can put it on a big screen up in the warehouse so the team know what they're driving towards. And by now, hopefully you've identified which technology stack you identify most with. And there's these 3 things to keep in mind. We covered them at the start, but just think about it again. What integration do you need, and is it proven? And are you sure this data sync is going to work? Have you done the diligence to make sure everything's going to connect together in the right way? Make sure that you benchmark any systems map that you go for against other companies that are similar to you. A good question to ask is, can you tell me the name of 3 companies who are similar to us in business model and order volume that are already using the combination you're recommending? And those working examples can give you a lot of confidence. You may even find that you're able to speak to them and get a reference firsthand. And finally, if you've got any questions or you need some advice about your technology stack, please feel free to email us at sales@peoplevox.com or come to us via our website. There's usually someone online and they can have a chat with you right there and then about the systems that you're using.